But today I really wanted to get into, the questions that both Ajit and I hear a lot, right? And it's, wow, you both are public facing and you both are so inspirational. And how do you do it? Seems like it's perfect. Seems like you guys don't have any issues. And I'm the first person to tell you that if you'd been following us along, in this entire journey, while we've had, some incredible, amazing, juicy moments, we've also had our hard times. We've also had our rocky roads. And, you know, the idea is that to be in partnership, we both have to be willing to say yes to each other. And I think that having children and honestly, we learned so much after hitting like I wouldn't say a relationship rock bottom with my first, but with all of the roller coaster of emotions and re-identifying your identity post, child birth, and having a partner who's also committed to not just elevating themselves, but elevating you as a unit, as a couple. And what I want to bring to the table really is there's so much that we learn about personal growth and so much that we learn about our own individual growth. And I want to say that when you are in partnership, when you are creating a family, you become an entity. And I'm not saying, he is my half and we're, creating a whole, but you really are creating your brand new entity together as a couple, right? Like the way that you fight, the way that you repair, the way that you have fun together as a family. And so, I'm even rediscovering how to look into even our own patterns and our own dynamics that we have been able to create as now parents. And, because yes, we both want to grow individually, but I think also we need to learn how to be in relation to one another. And that is the journey. That is the dance, because there are fights. And for all of us, for those of us who are in relationships or just getting over a breakup or finding their new partner or finding, that right person again, right? It's this idea that while you are also growing yourself, yes, you're also mindful and curious at the way that your partner is growing, but then there is that ability to then grow as a couple. Like, what are your interests together as well as separate, as well as individual? And I think we're forgetting that as we're really diving into the idea of personal growth and personal discovery and, this idea of being so individualistic. And honestly, it cannot be super individualistic. Otherwise, you're going to be going in different directions. We have to learn how to relate and dance and be super curious and hyper curious about each other. And yeah, when I'm in a funk, when I'm in a mood, when I have not slept, when the kids are having a breakdown, it will definitely come out in my tone. There is no doubt I am human and I take that responsibility and I own that. And he has his triggers as well, and we're doing the dance, right? And so how do you develop that bounce factor in relationship, and what does that even look like in relationship, and how do you start to even navigate and have those conversations with your romantic partner? And I'll just go through, some of the things that Ajit and I were very, very diligent about when we first got together. We were so intentional about, discovering, what our values were. And I had done this exercise for years before I met him. It was one of the things that really kept me grounded, especially during the time of my losses. And it was really a cathartic full circle for me as I was getting into my own initial self-discovery period, discovering that, okay, maybe I didn't want to be a dentist anymore, discovering that, boy, did I have a lot of patterns in my love relationships. And my pattern was I didn't want to be abandoned. And so I would hold on to relationships for a really, really long time, especially if they were toxic, unhealthy, or they treated me like shit. Right. And so as we got together and I'm not going to speak for Ajit's side and what he was working through at the time, but he was going through his own discovery journey as well. I was just so adamant about, I knew that in this season of my life, if I was going to call in a partner who was going to have the values that I desired in a partner, I had to be that for myself. So if I wanted my partner to be honest, I needed myself to be honest. If I wanted him to be vulnerable, I needed to be vulnerable. And where was that in places in my life where I wasn't being vulnerable with myself? I wasn't being vulnerable with new people I was meeting. I wasn't being vulnerable or sharing the full truth of what I was really feeling with the closest people in my life. So really doing a deep dive of what your values are at this season, what your values that you are really calling in this season of your life.
See you next time at the Brave Table.